Just going live here real quick. Once we get the chat, we'll go ahead and get that locked in. Hope you guys are all having a great night. Hope things are going well this Friday evening. It is 11:30 p.m., so we're getting a late start. We're going to see if we can't put maybe a good hour of work into this cover art that has no beginning as of yet. That's the goal. And see how far we can get in limited time. I think that'll be just okay. Refresh all of our chats here. Put our indicator on. Okay, let's see if we can't get our Knox bot going. All right, pretty soon we're gonna have to add some new moderator tools here. Let's see, do we have a visual? We do. All right, great. Got a couple things here going. We haven't started drawing anything yet, so I'm very sorry if you were coming in hoping to find something already drawn. We have not drawn anything as of yet. All right, so the goal here, I think tonight, is to get a basis for what we're doing. We're going to be trying to sketch a 3DS as the main bit. I think straight on might be bad. I think we want some angles here. So we're going to cheat a little bit. Not a ton. But we're going to use a ruler. Just to get some of our basics down. I think it's this one. Yeah. Okay. So we want to get a little bit. I think if this is set to vert, don't really love that. So I'm trying to position it in a way that makes sense for what we're doing. I think perhaps if we go across like this, might be our best option. Get a nice little dynamic angle on there. Trying to think where we want this to end. Let's say the middle of the system is going to be right through here. We go ahead and get ourselves a pixel brush here. I think 80 is way too big. We don't want a pixel brush, we want a vector brush. 5 is too small. Make it a nice 25. Something we can kind of control. Alright. So that'll be one reference point there. I feel like we don't want it to be all the way up. Something like that. That'll be the up and down, so this will kind of be more into the field of view, so it's going to be a little bit shallower. Where's the trust? Not sure what angle it's trying to snap to here. almost want this to come all the way out here. Something like that. Which means that this is kind of placed a little off of what we actually want. See if we can't fix that. More like there. I think that's good. Let's get our ruler back out. So this is technically just our sketch, I think. Almost had it perfect. No. Oh, that's annoying. It's not really noticeable there. Alright, the eraser's set to 40, so we gotta be a little bit careful, but not crazy careful. Have some fun with microphone sounds here. Really play it up because normally we don't scratch our pad like that, but we'll do it here just because otherwise we don't really have any noise coming in. I try to keep talking through this whole process as best I can, but you know it's not always easy to come up with stuff to talk about, especially when there's not anybody in the chat. If welcome tonight, by the way, if you're here. This looks like almost the angle I want. I feel like maybe we could do a little bit of editing here. Maybe we can skew this a bit. Like maybe we can do something like that. Do I really want to distort it? I don't know. Bring it up a little bit. We're just trying to get a good idea for what this to look like. Opened up a little bit here. That's kind of a fun perspective there. Do got to bring that corner back down a little bit. We kind of harshed it just a bit more than we wanted to. Okay, can we go back to making it big? I think that's not a bad perspective to have. Okay, so now let's try to make this what it'll actually be, because this is just a guide. In fact, let's go ahead and make this look like a guide, make it a little more opaque there, so when we actually start drawing, it won't go crazy. This will be kind of like an outline here, and we're going to do it mostly freehand, because I feel like that does make it a certain style that you won't get if we use too much too much rulering, you know. So it's got these cool hinges here. Follow that line there. We'll clean that up a little bit later. Another hinge on this side. It's going to be a little bit exaggerated on the hinges because I do like the hinge detail. Hey SG, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. It's got a little bit of these like cool pieces of like angles in these hinges, which I appreciate here. Didn't really notice that until you like go to draw the system and it's like, oh snap, look at that. We're going to cut this a little high from our guide. The guide's just to give us like the general angle of things. But this actually comes down and becomes, you know, an actual system here. So this will be kind of a mark through. This might actually end up just being a sketch now that I think about it. But at least we'll have an idea what we want. We'll have to make it a lot tighter on the final pass here because it's starting to look kind of rough already. Bring that down. Bring it across. Bring this up over here. There's a little divider halfway up the system. That's going to be where we're going to need like the ruler to make these lines clean, you know? So there's a little headphone jack down here. The screen size is interesting. We're going to say it starts about there. Makes it to about the even mark on the other side. That's a little too narrow. Let's try that again. No, I think that's about where it is. Doesn't look right to me for some reason. What am I drawing? I am drawing a 3DS. That's the goal. The goal is to draw a 3DS. We're trying to make the album art for season 8 of the podcast. This is nice. Appreciate you stopping in, man. Hope you're doing well. How well do you think people know what 3DSs look like anymore? This is the teal version from back in the day. And this screen actually stops like here. There's like another, there's like a few buttons down here. There's a select button. There's home right here. And over here there's a start button. We're gonna try to touch up everything as we go. It's a really precise system, and we're not trying to be like overly crazy about it. So there's the 4 buttons over here. That top button's way too big. More like the side buttons are too small, but that's okay. And that doesn't look right. We've already betrayed ourselves with that. Not all the fine details, but general things like button placement and the like. Yeah, right? Let's try to be a little more realistic with those buttons if we can. We're using a pretty broad brush here, so they do look more round at this angle. So now that one's just out of place. There's a little power button right here. Looks something like that. Little square. Literally says power on the system next to it. There's a thumb joystick. I was about to say thumb pad, but it's not really a pad. Actually, I don't know if I would call it a joystick either. Like it's pretty flat. So maybe it is a thumb pad. What do they call it when it's flat like that? Like the thing is barely raised off the console. We want it to look like a circle, but not really be a circle. Because it's not, in perspective view like this, you wouldn't see it quite like that. Something like that. And then we got a D-pad over here. Again, on an angle. It's got to follow the angle of the system. Something like that. It'd be fun to keep this as a sketch, but it's not a directional pad since you can move it. Yeah, this guy here. Alright, so then over here, we kind of come up, and this is honestly just a big, it's like it's a frame for your screen. So there's not really like, ooh, went way off my line with that one. It kind of has a little cut up to get around the hinges. That cut up is actually the back of the frame though, so that's front of the frame is like here. And then it cuts over, comes up. We'll kind of draw that up and bring that over like so. And then if I was eyeballing it, I would say that there's a color change. It follows the hinges pretty directly. Like that's where the end of the teal is right there. And it's actually a little wider. So if I was doing a direct thing, it would be like right here, but in reality the screen ends like over here. Because the top screen's a little wider than the bottom screen there. So if we do the same move here, brings us out to about there. And then it ends maybe a ½ inch from the top as well. So the screen actually ends something like that. It's a screen, so all these lines should be a lot sharper, a lot flatter. But also, this is a hand sketch, so what can you do? A circle pad? Yeah, you could call it a circle pad. I think that's fair. I think it's a fair way to designate it. So this thing has a little camera up here, right at the top. On the back, it actually had 2 cameras, so it could take 3D pictures, which is pretty cool. I say it had as if I don't have one sitting right here. There's one thing that I just messed up a little bit. Hold on. So this is actually probably more like right halfway up, right? There's a little 5-hole pattern, and that's like speakers. It had stereo speakers here. But it was like a little perfect pattern of 5 on either side. 1 center hole, and then 4 on the directions. That's how you end up with a nice little speaker output there. Sorry, I heard another blip, but it doesn't look like there's any new messages. Anyway, let's see. Come over here, do this, throw it down. So that's the general concept of what we're drawing. Oh, I forgot there's a little volume switch over here. Can we go back to our pen, please? Thank you. So this had a little detail on it, and it was a volume switch. So down here it just says off. And that was actually to change how much 3D effect was on the screen. They actually had an adjustable amount of 3D that you could have on the 3DS, all the way to turning it off. But it wasn't just on or off. It was actually like incremental. Like you could move a slider to figure out the magnitude of your 3D, which was kind of cool. All right, so the last little detail here, which isn't at all part of the reality of owning a 3DS, is the little rental bit. So this is now rented from Ravio. And you can tell because of the little purple hood on the corner here. And that's the concept of our artwork. All right, so concept there. Fun stuff. Now let's see if we can't tighten this up a little bit. So now this will get hidden entirely. This will become the opaque one. And now let's see if we can't like tighten up our stuff. So this ought to be fun. We're gonna take these lines. We're actually gonna make them even tighter. I think 10 might be too tight, but we'll see. Hello. Not what we wanted. We wanted a new layer where it's completely opaque. We're gonna fill in all of our lines. No, that is where I wanted a game. It's not a game. This is an Adobe Fresco, so distinctly not a game. This line looks a little broken. That's okay. We'll wait till we find the line that we can use. I think this line is a line. We'll use that. That almost looks right there. That definitely looks better there. You know what? Let's get rid of that middle line. We're going to start altering the angle. Because remember, this is a perspective image, so not everything's going to be parallel, because things that are farther away are going to get smaller. Things that are closer are going to be a little bigger. So the reason that this line doesn't match the top line is because we want there to be a little bit of a perspective effect. So we're going to use that line there. We're going to use this line here. That looks pretty parallel. We're going to edit it a little bit and try to make it even more of that effect we were just talking about. So we're going to shrink it a little bit on the back. We're going to bring it out on the front. And that little split in the middle there, we're going to kind of make it official. I used the 3D effect mostly for the Zelda handheld games. Yeah. So like Ocarina of Time 64, Majora's Mask 64, so that's what you're talking about. Because this was the yeah. So there's Ocarina of Time 3D, Majora's Mask 3D. There was this one, which is A Link Between Worlds, which was also on the 3DS, another 3D Zelda handheld. Oh, hey, give me my lines back. When you accidentally hit the undo button instead of the rotate button, you end up with problems. Okay, so these lines I think are going to be mostly unique. All right, the fresco's being a little frustrating right now. I would actually expect the opposite thing to happen, so we're going to open it up a little bit. We're going to make these ones parallel because it's going to be so close to us that perhaps it should be parallel. This should reach all the way down to the bottom. Okay. So this is almost vertical here. We're going to say it's a little off vert. We don't want it to be perfectly vertical. We want it to be just off enough to be off. Gotta get rid of our snapping. Something like that. For the front. Is there a midway? There's not really like a midway line. And we are going to simplify this a little bit. The top is a little thinner than the bottom here. We're not going to shy from that. We're going to let it be thinner. Again, maybe this side would appear even more vertical. Something like that. Just to get to the hood. All right, so those are like the most important straight lines that we have. Everything else can kind of be edited and, made up as we go. We're going to start zooming in, I think, and like really trying to clean up some of this stuff. Like this, not real. Okay. Oh, we're not done. Sorry, there's more straight lines. My bad. We're going to add a few more here. I don't know if we have anyone else streaming tonight. Like, I don't think Cam's on tonight. At least not from what I've seen. So this one is a little more off. The erasing sounds are from the physical top. So I have a tablet here that I'm working on, and what you're hearing is me scratch it with the pen. So any sounds that you hear are legit, like in room Foley for the most part. So I'm trying to be kind of like not breathing all over the mic. I have a monitor going, but I'm not shying away from making noise with the top either. Thank you for letting you know. Yeah, no problem. You'll hear it with some drawing too, especially if I start shading things. I want that to just follow the line there. Kind of similar with the bottom here. Let's see if we can't. Just make that line official. Seems legit. And we'll see if, at least on this side, we're gonna add a little detail line there. That's not gonna, it might not live. We'll see. The bottom, we're gonna simplify a bit. There's certain details, like there'll be like a split in the plastic and then an immediate like dip in the plastic, and I don't think we want to catch both of that every time. I think that there are certain times where we just want to catch one of those details. We're gonna lower this a bit, try to get a nice ratio on that screen. All right, so now I'm thinking we can ditch the ruler and kind of try to freehand the rest, just based on what we have here. So now we're gonna start zooming in, see if we can't, you know, move things around, get an idea of what we're working with here. Where do we want to start? Maybe connecting the system to itself. That might be a good place to start. You said that's fine. I was hoping the sound was coming from drawing tablet versus the program. I guess it's similar to drawing on paper for me. Yeah. It's I mean I've done paper drawings too. Just not, not tonight. Not for our cover art. I try to do it digital for the most part. If I can. And with something like this I for sure can. So it's got this cool angle detail on the hinge here, which I mentioned before. Little aggressive on that. I think it's supposed to be more like this. And then it angles down a little bit there. If anybody has a DS, they can kind of check what I'm doing and see why I'm doing it. Because otherwise this looks like some weird detail that's not really there, but I assure you it is. I think we've gone too close to the edge here. I think we're gonna bring it back a little bit. This is probably the most ridiculous part of this process. So that's gonna kind of cut up into this, and then this is gonna swoop back, and this is gonna go away. Can we get a smaller eraser, please? Something on the level of 5 pixels. That was the wrong thing to make go away. Hold on. So we're just going to clean that up a little bit. Something like that. I think that this can actually trail right around now. So let's get that in there. The bottom of the hinge there. And we'll bring this down. This actually goes all the way down like to here. So we could do that. We could bring it right off this edge here. Bring it down into that. And this, likewise, kind of flows down. We'll actually make that the same outline for the most part. So then, in a similar fashion, let's see, this top actually comes up and hits, and it kind of molds into it, but like the system kind of blends into itself a little bit there. So we'll get rid of a little bit of that, because this hinge is actually more so a part of the bottom than it is the top. So we're going to leave a little bit of this line as like a little detail indicator, like, hey, this is where there's a corner, but we're not going to like keep the whole line because it's not a true outline. So we'll get rid of some of this stuff too, just to make it a little more organic looking. I think that's what they went for too. I think there was a light around the little line on the hinge part. Oh, there was, but it was like the way we have the system open right now, that light is, let me show you. It's like right here. Like that's where the light is. The way we have it like kind of propped up a little bit. It's not bad. Like we can light that up green, if we want to. Uh, I think I maybe have drawn the hinge a little bit off now that I see there's actually two. There's like a double line here. We're just gonna pretend that that's right, even though that's now distinctly off of what the true nature of the thing is. Because then this would kind of wrap around. Don't like that. Like these two lines should really be parallel. Let's see if we can fix it. Just like swoop that in there like that. Can we not be warbly for some reason? Just like a regular line would be fine. Okay. We are drawn pretty microscopic right now. Like when you zoom out on this guy, like who's gonna care what's going on right there? You know what I mean? So where this blends in, there's like a little line right here, and then this kind of comes down, works in. This I think we did exaggerated a little bit. It's true, right? That's what I'm saying. Like I don't want to obsess over every little detail. I want to get it to look good from a distance. Because this is cover art. Like people don't really just sit there and stare at cover art for the most part. Uh, but we want it to be accurate enough where people get the intention. So let's see. We take this. If we bring this down all the way, it's starting to look and feel a little bit off. But I think it's because there's like we're gonna exaggerate the button here a little bit because this is art and we can do that. There's a shoulder button down here hiding behind the corner. We need a bigger eraser. This 5 is not doing it. 9.5 ought to be good. Okay. So there's a shoulder button down here. We're gonna just draw that in. And then we're gonna redecide where the actual like system ends. Oh, sorry. So that's the edge of the button, is what I said. And then this comes down and kind of cuts in. But really it's the button that's cutting in, so I think that looks accurate enough there. Again, the button doesn't actually like look like that. The button ends like way up here. But anybody looking at this who doesn't like have a 3DS right in front of them is going to look at that and say, oh yeah, the shoulder button, that should be there. It is. It's there. It's not accurate, but it's there. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to leave it just like that. On purpose. Can you believe it? There's even a power switch and another light on the side here. That's a Wi-Fi light. And it's a little wireless dial. And that, the light would be like right here. Right by that switch. And the switch was essentially a slot that was empty for the most part. Like this was all empty. I think black might be the wrong choice for that, but we'll allow it for now. was like, you know, a little grippy thing so you could push it up. It was actually spring loaded, so you could like turn it off and turn it back on. Wasn't the main power switch, it was just the wire. It was the was it the wireless power switch? Yeah, you could turn wireless on and off with that. All right, so cool. So then we got these buttons here. What are we gonna do with those? I feel like maybe we're going about this the wrong way, but that's okay. Maybe we should fix these curves first. Like this is just gonna blend into that. We're not gonna do it with any like official software. I don't think. We're just gonna act like freehanding it is good enough. Whoa. Losing a little bit of definition here, but yikes. How perfect does it need to be? It's impressionist art. We're getting the impression of a 3DS. It's not impressionist art. Don't tell your teacher that. Every time you do something that's not perfectly accurate. That's not how that works. Alright, so this would kind of come through here. They will not agree with you on that stance. I think it's hilarious, but I'm not an art teacher. We're basically doing still life, I think is what this would be considered, but you know, also not doing fruit, so probably still wrong. Because it's not life, right? I don't know. It's an old system. We're not trying to be photorealistic. This is after all a digital sketch. I'm not a professional illustrator or artist here. We're just trying our best. It's like Microsoft Paint, but maybe a level or two higher than Microsoft Paint. But not quite like, you know. I don't know what the top level drawing program would be these days. But I know I'm not on it. I'm on Adobe Fresco. I'm on like the you know, the freebie software for drawing and doing digital art, where everything is very manual. I think that looks decent. I think this top corner needs to be a little sharper if these two are going to be what they are. Whoa. All right, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll commit to the erasure. Holy smokes. Sorry, I started drawing before I was actually touching the pad there. I feel it is objective to the artist on which is the top drawing program. It's gotta be, right? But I know that Fresco ain't it. That is one thing I do that I know. Fresco's like, it's like it lacks a lot of features that some other programs have. I do like that it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, pretty easy to use, pretty easy to mess up your drawing if you really want. Which is what's happening right now. We might have to pull the ruler back out to fix this. Just gotta make it perfect, that's all. That's all we gotta do to make it pixel perfect. Oh man. Some programs have better features, people who prefer it over others. Yeah. This is gonna drive me crazy right here, this little detail. You know what? Hold on, let's go back. This is the beautiful thing about digital art, is that you can just say, hey, I made it worse, and I'm willing to admit that. And then you can go back and put it to where it was. And look at that. Forget about it. You know, as much as I love Twitch, they really gotta, like, filter out Stream Boo themselves. Like, I shouldn't have to put up a filter for something that is the same every single time. And they could just put a filter on it for themselves. Submit the report, block the user. You love the undo button? Yeah, it's pretty great. That's one of the key features of any digital art program. I feel as though I've dropped my pen and now I don't know where it is. Oh dear. Alright, hold on everybody. We'll figure it out. I got a bidding on my... Oh, the Twitch is like seen the report and already actioned on it because, you know, I tell the truth. Ah! Okay. We're back. It didn't go into your sleep? No, it didn't. It was... I think I had it, like, in my hoodie or something. And it fell as I was looking for it. Alright, so we just got rid of the bot. Let's get back to our drawing. So, I don't love that radius, but I can live with it. We're gonna come over and try to fix some of these ones over here. And by fix, I mean, you know, we'll put it on the center for y'all. Possibly mess it up, make it worse. Just with a quick little tight angle there. We'll come back around to that other one when we feel like more confident about it. I'm just gonna do little cheater methods here. It's not really cheating, but you know. What is cheating when it comes to art, really? We doubled our outline so that we could erase it a little bit on the inside, instead of putting the line just where we wanted it in the first place. And you end up with a slightly bigger bottom section. If I wanted to get really granular, I could make like a whole second line down here that follows this first line to make it look like a ledge, but I don't want to do that. That sounds painful. All right, let's work on this second hinge here. Seems like the most fun place to go next. So we're gonna cut this up here. Make it a little more round than we originally made it. And this will be pretty much the opposite of the other side. So if I'm drawing this, I'm doing these two parallel lines. I mean, artists learn by trying to copy something like a view, a person, a bowl of fruit, etc. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, we're learning. Every time you do art, you're pretty much learning how to do it better, right? So you don't see that as cheating? Yeah, I don't see it as cheating either. I was just joking because I do things a little... Just whatever I can put on the paper, you know? Like, I don't have classically trained technique when it comes to drawing or painting. I mean, I've taken art classes, but a lot of it was like, hey, sketch this thing every day I try to like learn how to copy a form, how to draw according to the volume of an object, which all very helpful concepts, none of which tells you like how to hold a pencil or, you know, how to, I don't know, get everything quite right immediately. Like art is very fluid from what I gather. Like even watching people who are really good at art, a lot of times it starts out as like we're going to get the values and the forms kind of like blobbed together and then we'll make adjustments as we go. And so I try to capture that feeling. Like I try to like tell myself, hey, I can make it look messy first and then I can figure it out from there. That's why we did like the basic, you know, guide first, and then like we'll just go back to them just to kind of show what I'm talking about. Like you can see the opaque thing that we're working off here. But then like this one was our original guy, and it was just rectangles. Like, hey, here's where we want it to be on the page. And then it became, okay, here's what a 3DS kind of looks like. And now it's becoming, hey, this is what a digital art 3DS probably looks like if you're not just throwing it on the paper like that or on the, the canvas, the digital canvas. Whoa, we just made a vector layer on accident. We're gonna undo all of that. And we're gonna go back to, not a vector layer, what do you call that? They have the three different kinds of layers. They have pixel, they have live brushes. That was a live brush that you just saw. We don't use that nonsense. At least not yet. Maybe one day. We're gonna act like we did this perfect the first time, and we're just gonna throw these dots up here. Perfect. Look at that. Couldn't be better. Maybe work on the Ravio hood. The Ravio hood I actually think looked good as it was, but maybe we can make it even better by just making it a little cleaner. Whoa, that was a bad angle, my guy. Let's try that again. We're gonna start with a circle, but not a real circle. An oval circle, kind of like a slime from Monster Quest or Dragon Quest, sorry. And then we'll add our bunny ears. But they gotta be Ravio-esque bunny ears. They can't be like too detailed, too crazy, too asymmetrical, any of that. They gotta be pretty toony, because that is the goal. You can have them tapered down at the bottom, kind of like that. I think that makes them blend a little nicer into the actual hood part of the bunny hood. Get rid of these extra lines. Voila. Got ourselves a little Ravio hood. Actually, I think that we might keep this template up for the shading of this, because this kind of looks dope the way it is. We might do pillow shading on that guy. Feel those ears have magic. How is it when you die? His bird knows and takes back the rented weapons, right? Like they straight up spying on you or something. Does not make sense. I didn't realize you were such a big Zelda guy, SG14. You listen to the podcast at all? I mean, I know we just started with the season 8. Some sort of GPS. Yeah, magic GPS. You do listen to the podcast. Nice. All right, I just messed up this circle pretty bad. How about we use the magic undo button? Speaking of magic. Hey, I can use a brush, please. Thank you. Okay. It doesn't got to be the best circle in the world. It's just got to be circular. All right. Did these really don't have arches to them? Like it's like as tight as it could be on a machine. So like on a drawing, they don't even have to be there. They can just have corners. As for this section over here, we should probably figure that out though. Plus, the Zelda series are my favorite and comfort games to play. Yeah, they're nice. I definitely appreciate the Zelda games. Like, if I didn't, I wouldn't make a podcast about them. You know what I mean? Like clearly, I like them. Not gonna lie, I haven't played them very much lately. Like, I just started another run of Ocarina the other night. And by the other night, I mean yesterday. And I'm excited to play that. I'm gonna try to just do like 100% on that one because I just want to hang out in the game. I don't want to like stress about it, and I want to have an excuse to play it longer. So I'm gonna do 100% run. Just do everything there is to do, and just enjoy it. That's what I'm thinking. We're trying to focus on being more chill in these streams. Definitely don't want to freak out and make this hobby something that's, more anxiety than it's worth. Like, do I want it to do well? Do I want to like get numbers and see things grow? Absolutely. But I also don't want to like freak out about it. Ocarina of Time is one I've played many times. Also, like the farming simulation games like Stardew Valley and Fields of Mystria. Okay, so this is like perfect for you then. I mean, me and Cam have been playing that Stardew quite a bit as well. So I'm glad to that we see you as often as we do. If you don't mind me asking, like, are you East Coast? Are you an East Coast guy? Don't want to get too stressed out. Yeah. I get that. I'm wondering if you're in the same time zone or if you're like got a little nicer. Like right now, it's 12:30 a.m. where I live. I know not everybody can actually like watch stuff when I do that because I'm up pretty late doing stuff. So not great, but not bad. I'll leave it. I think it works with the rest of the situation we got going on here. I think let's work on these details down here. I'm debating if I want anything to actually be on the screen right now. It's 11:29 where you're at. All right, cool. So yeah, you're a little more central probably. I don't actually know the time zones by the hour, but I also don't know that I want to know the time zones by the hour. All right, so this switch is completely off where it's gonna be. Like if this dot's here, then this switch really shouldn't start until like down here. I think I may have exaggerated where this is a little bit, or the size of it. I think these are way too big, but that's okay. Let's see if we can't zoom in and try to just make it work. So it doesn't go to the bottom. It would probably start like here, and it would go up to say here, which isn't very much at all. But it also means that the off position is like here, which is where most people default to, is that off position, because as cool as the 3D effect was, using it all the time was not good. So now we actually need like a small eraser. Like a teeny tiny eraser. Come right in here and clean this out. Without erasing our lines. Definitely Central Time. Gotcha. That's cool though. Yeah, I don't know when the official. Oh, we did the thing. Made a circle on us. That's not what we wanted. Don't know why I thought that. Probably because we're working in such a small space. The system contains a warning not to use the 3D effect for too long and to stop if you feel motion sick. Yeah. If I remember right, it also wasn't good for kids or something like that. Kind of like how VR has those warnings like, hey, if you're under a certain age, you shouldn't use this at all because your eyes are still developing, and developing eyes will get wrecked by this whole feature. It's like, oh, cool. Glad my eyes were developed when this came out. Parental controls too, yeah. I'll thicken that up a little bit. All right, so how this would actually go is that there'd be like a really weird shift in the detail. We need a bigger eraser again. Come on. Back up to about 10. 9 is good. Come in here. And there was just like a little bit of a cut in with it. Just so you could like tell that it's gonna slide. We'll add that cut in here. And then I think we can actually do this with the coloring because otherwise it's not gonna show up the way it should. But essentially, there was a little, slider switch here and it said off. So I think we're gonna keep the line work, but we're not gonna put the letters and stuff on right now. All right, so we're getting there. I think maybe this is looking a little wrong right now, but we're back around, so we might as well address that if that's how we're feeling. How much do we want to address it? I think just a little bit. Let's get rid of this top line because that's the one I think I don't like. And we'll try to make it more true to life. Something like that. No, it comes here and that's like a hard cut down. Something like that. So then if we did the same thing with this one, it would probably fix everything. We brought it up. Ooh, brought it up. Let's just undo that and try again. Brought it up. Okay. Hold on. Brought it up and then cut it down. And we get our fancy schmancy eraser. Our handy dandy notebook over here. The true artist that inspired generations. The artists who were like stunt doubles on Blue's Clues and would make the most crazy quick sketches for Steve to do. In fact, I think what they would do is they would come up with how the sketch would be, like what would be the simple line work to make it readable. And then they would teach the Steve guy how to do it quickly and efficiently. So he would practice it a ton, and then he would do the scene where he would hold up the notebook and he would like draw it. If I'm remembering right, it was either that or they straight up just had someone else's hands show up and do the sketches. So these don't look right at all anymore. This one's like, I like the look of this one a lot better. This one looks way too low. And the reason I say it looks way too low is because it's actually not that much lower. It's just the way that these angles are working right now. I think we're focused too much on the shadow. And what we need to do is just follow this line up here, you know? So if we just did like this instead of down, and then when this comes up, it also just follows that. You know what I mean? I think that'll get us a lot further, a lot faster. So now if we scroll back out, now it looks more in line with what we did on the other side. And this light right here is driving me nuts. So let's figure that out. It's just like touching in a bad way. The real system, that would never happen. Did we use a bigger... brush? I'm not sure. When we drew that. Okay. So now if we... try to make that into a hard angle. Something like that, I think works a little better. And then what we can do now is maybe even make it look a little more natural, flowing into itself in a good way. Get rid of some of these lines that are just confusing things. I think that just made it a whole lot better, actually. I think I'll keep it like that. I don't think we're going to add or take away any more details from that area. Not until we start adding color. Okay, so now we're going to make these buttons. I think right now the shadow makes them look quite exaggerated from what they actually are. I want to see if we can... Why? Why did you make it the weirdest circle ever? I was trying to get a cheater circle. Oh, you evil, evil program. All right, let's try this for real. So sometimes it becomes a perfect arc. There we go. Does that make sense with the angle of the system? No, it doesn't. Hold on. Okay, so this we're gonna do some nonsense here. Please. Wait, what? No. Stop it. Kind of like that. Just close it. Okay. It can be like slightly bigger because it's a little closer to the screen. It's gonna go like there. Okay. So then this will be this will be the same size. Just about anyway. And then we're gonna adjust this guy one more time because he's not right anymore. He's almost the same size. Okay. And he needs to be a little more tilted like that. So right in the middle, make it a square. Done. So now we're gonna do some trickery. We're going to deselect that guy. We're gonna take the whole bunch. We're gonna transform the whole bunch together. In fact, let's see if we follow the line, it would look something like that, which means that our two side ones are out of place. We can fix that. Hold on. I can go up a little higher. Okay. Oh, all right. Let's do this again. Do like that. Let's fix this guy. Excuse you. Oh, we gotta merge them down. Hold on. We're just doing stuff. All right, cool. Don't do that. I think maybe just like that would be fine. All right, that's fine. We're fine. Let's zoom in on these and try to fix them a little bit. So now all these are raised buttons. And all we had to do is double the circle a little bit. Trickery, like I said. It's one of those special digital art techniques. Just gonna center what we're working on. I'm pretty bad at just like moving the camera. I wish I knew what the the button shortcut was to just like pan things around. Good deal. Think that looks good, right? Maybe. Maybe a little bit too close to the screen. We can fix that. Hold on. Something like that. Like that. Digital art. It's the best. Jericho, what's up? That's Joshua. Joshua, what you up to? Looks great. Thanks. Thanks, man. Now let's do the real hard stuff over here. Ready for this? Ooh, I wasn't ready for it, clearly. Okay, there we go. Let's do a big ol' circle. Yeah. Awesome. Nothing much, just got off work. Alright. We'll close that. Do the same little move. We'll take this, we'll merge it down. We'll reselect it with our fancy schmancy selection tool. We'll put it where we actually want it. And we'll do all the things. There's actually like a little divot in the system all around this too. But I don't know that I even want to draw that because I think it's overkill on the detail. Like even I think Nintendo overdid it with the detail. Like it did not need to be there. I don't know why they did it. Okay. Deselect that. Let's see. If we were gonna draw it, what would it look like? Probably something like that. Oh, that's fine. I like it. Look at that. Look at that. Boom. We did the thing. Whoever's part of the R&D, the executives probably. There's actually a little cut on the top of this too. Let's see what we can do. If we just follow these lines here. Oh, Fresco decided it was like, I'm not going to make a circle for you anymore. I quit. I'm done making your circles. Now we're going to make jank circles. Make me a good circle, Fresco. Nope, that wasn't it, Fresco. Let's try again. So, the thing I don't understand about this program is when does it and doesn't it know to make things clean? Right? This is why Fresco's not the best program right here. This nonsense. Here, let's just be obvious. There we go. How about we do this? I would make it a little bit small, and then we can grab it. And transform that joint. All right, there we go. I love it. I wish it was a little thinner, but other than that, I think that's pretty accurate, pretty true to life. All right. Next up, I think we need to just close this line real quick. It's been bugging me. Let's see if we can't, like, make it perfect. Hey, where's my ruler? There you are. I was hoping you'd be involved in this process, ruler. Help me out here, my guy. No, I said ruler, please. Thank you. Okay. Really? Please try again. Bah, there we go. Here we go. We're zooming in. We're zooming in. We got this. Target's at 15 marks. All right. Yeah, just grab that line. Grab this guy. We're about a pixel off. That's fine. We're going to leave it. It's amazing. Can't send bits yet to your page? Yeah, because I'm not affiliate yet, because Twitch is rough. We had 10 followers all day. Now we only have 9. I don't know if they saw digital art and said, nah, forget you. Or if maybe they were looking for something that we weren't able to, you know, provide. Bots, man. What can you do? So we don't even have 25 followers yet, which is on Twitch, which is part of why we don't have features like bits and stuff. I ain't trying to be like the billionaire out here. The batillionaire. Whatever you would call it. I do want that Kirby Air Ride though, so I can be a gamillionaire. That would be wonderful. You guys see that direct? The Kirby Air Ride direct? It looks incredible. And that is like one of the moments from the direct that is everything. It's like, these are gummies. You can't do anything with them, but you could be a gamillionaire. They don't serve any in-game purpose, but you can kind of like play with them on screen and you can have a lot of them. It's like, thanks. Thanks, sir. You haven't seen the direct yet? It's full of really good things that are going to be in the game. Like the second one. The first direct was kind of like, hey, do you remember Kirby Air Ride? This is Kirby Air Ride again. And then the second direct was like, hey, do you remember how we said it was Kirby Air Ride? It's actually like everything you ever wanted to be in that game, except like dialed up and really exciting. And I was like, oh, here I was thinking it was another Kirby Air Ride. My bad. I guess I was wrong. I'm sorry. It really seemed like that's what you wanted me to think last time we talked about this. So if this is the center, and we had our headphone jack way off. Headphone jack. Sounds like a comic book hero. This looks like a job for headphone jack. I just got a little wave of inspiration here. We're gonna ride it and see what happens. We might hate it, but that's okay. Inside the headphone jack, there's a little piece of metal that reflects light. Looks something like that. Looks like a little rectangular piece inside the circle. but because it's a headphone jack and it's circular, the shade is going to hit it like a circle on the backside. I also think I made this a little too tall, so we're going to shave it. Something like that. Well, there is My Hero Academia character with the hero name as earphone jack. That makes sense. It kind of sounds like a One Punch Man superhero name. So it's kind of funny that they went for it with My Hero Academia. That's not the girl with the earphones, is it? With like the you know what I'm talking about. She has like her ears have like aux cables coming off of them. Yep, that's her. She's earphone jack. Not like earphone Jacqueline. Earphone Jackie. I suppose it's all the same thing. Alright. So I'm liking the concept. The execution's giving me some issues right now. We're just gonna leave it smooth in some way and hope for the best. Not like that though. Hold on. Alright. So it's up a little bit more. I like it when it's a little bit deeper there. And we'll swoop that through. Swoop that through. Alright, we'll come down over here. And do we have a ruler? Hey, it was even in the right spot. Look at that. Alright, so that's what it would look like if we went from the center of our thumb pad right down to kind of the center of our zone. So we're off a little bit. Let's make it like this. Fun stuff. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Come on, Fresco. What are we doing? Do we have... Okay. I think perhaps we've made it too wide already. Can we stop with that? All right, thank you. Something like that. I think it's gonna be about a little bit. It's like about as wide as this circle that we have. That won't work. Okay, let's try again with a different thing. I follow this line down here. And therein lies our problem a little bit. All right, we're not going to follow it perfectly. We are not drawing this right. We'll fix it. Our brain is trying to make it like up and down correct. And we're running into problems because of that. So instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to make it, and then we're going to transform it into what we need it to be. Gross. Try again. Gross again. Try again. Still gross. Why do we keep doing this to ourselves? All right. That's fine. We can live with that. Just gonna fudge the rest. It's gonna look hand drawn, even though we used a ruler for most of it because we're doing the finishing touches with, you know, hand drawing. So now if we do the same trick we did with the other buttons, this should be really cool. It's like that, but we actually want it down, right? Yeah, let's put it down. All right. So that wasn't supposed to. We weren't trying to make a new layer there. Why did we do that? Delete that one. All right. Let's zoom in on the one we just made. And everywhere it doesn't make sense, we just erase it out. And everywhere it does make sense, we leave it in. I don't know how we did that. And then what we can do is we can once again merge it down. And then we can fix that little corner. Fix all the corners. Gorgeous. All right, now we need to transform it because it looks a little wonky. Maybe we can see what it looks like from a distance. Transform it until it looks right with the rest of the system. Maybe something like that. This is getting to be a little too perfect again. Not quite. That might be it, except smaller. Something like that. I mean, it's pretty small. It's like the same width as the circle, really. Whoa. Let's see. Is this the same? Nope. Hold on. Thanks, man. You know, we're just doing some stuff. Making a little 3DS with a Ravio hood. It's fun stuff. I think that might be it until we start adding the color in. So how about we do that? How about we do that next? We're gonna see how bad this gets if we have any like open edges that just lets the color bleed right through. But before we do that, let's copy this layer. No, just duplicate it. Yeah, that's all we needed. And then we will add a new layer. This will be our color layer. Because we'll keep this as our base template. We can even hide this one because we're not doing anything with it. So we'll select this one. No, I want to move the whole thing. Why is it like this? All right. Move our whole canvas. Let's see if we can't. That was the headphone cord here. All right, let's see. What can we do? If we have this, actually, we can do some dump work on this. Hold on, let's see. So the 3DS was like kind of an interesting tealish color. Something not green, but not blue. Kind of right between the two, though, in a way that was more blue. Why is the color wheel thing literally in my way? All right. You know, a teal color. It wasn't perfectly perfect. Like it was a little bit dark on the front edges, at least. Ooh, sweet, sounds good. What is it? What's happening? How goes the Twitch grind? Twitch grind is a little bit of a mess, to be honest. Hey. If only because nobody actually wants to be here on Twitch, it seems. Did we hit it? We did hit it. All right, so now we can do this fancy thing where like some of these lines don't need to be full lines. Kind of like we did on the other side. Like this can just kind of flow into itself. And that should be just fine. like some of that can just be a detail. He does know. Have you reached the viewer average at all? It seems to be the hardest. It is pretty hard. I think the highest I've gotten was like 2.4 for average view count, and they want at least 3 on 4 different streams. So we haven't even hit it once. So yeah, not great. Let's see here. All right, so up the side, same deal. And that just revealed to us that we are missing a piece of line. All right, let's fix that. Okay. So the rest of this is going to be dark, but I don't want it to be black because then it'll eat into our lines. So we're going to come up with a near black. It's like a grayish. And we're going to dump that here. And that kind of became a problem right at the outline of this. Where else can we use that color? I don't think we can. I don't think we can keep using it. I think the screen's got to be even more gray. Oh, it's too red. We made it too red. Hold on. So let's try that. Not dark enough. Hold on. Just off black. There we go. So that gray that we just used can maybe be the screen color. Okay, and then the lastly, this teal, except maybe even it's a little brighter and a little duller. Is it more green? I feel like it's the same kind of green. Let's just give that a try and see how that comes out. Nope, wrong direction. We need it to be more green. Let's try that. That's more accurate. Can we get it even brighter though? It really pops out when you're looking at a 3DS. I think that's almost perfect. Hold on. Can we get it a little more green? A little more bright. Yeah, it's ugly, just like the real thing. Doesn't help that if someone is watching the stream and 2 others, their view only accounts on 2 of 3 streams for the people who do that. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm doing variety streaming, so I'm already putting myself at a pretty heavy disadvantage. But even with that, I only have 9 followers, you know? Like, it's the fact that I'm not doing the same thing every single time is causing some problems. Ravio wears almost a Nintendo Indigo color. Like, the purple for Ravio is like very purple. I think it works really well, actually, with the rest of what's going on here. The only thing I'll say is that it looks a little bit like it's not actually on the thing. I'm wondering if I put it up too high. Is it possible I put it up too high? Let's see. If I were to cut through it. Please stop. And then bring it down a little bit. I think that'll work. Not just like that. So don't worry. We're gonna fix it. It's just like if we take this, we do one of these, and then we take this, do one of these. So I agree with that sentiment. It's why the shift towards one game at a time for me. I'm told by others that it'll come with time, but we shall see. I do best. I'll do what I blah, blah, blah. I'll do the best I can to help. I already made my roommate folly. You didn't have to do that. Appreciate you though. I'm not super worried about making it everywhere. Like we already have monetization on Facebook, and turns out like it seems like we can keep that rolling for a little while. Um, we do a lot, but I want to do a lot. Like I want to enjoy what I'm doing. I'm not trying to make a living out of it, right? You know, like it's not the goal. Just trying to have fun. And if people aren't like with that, I'm not gonna try to like, you know, figure out uh how to enjoy it less to make other people enjoy it more right now. Like I don't think that's a good choice for me. This is looking a lot better than I thought it was going to look when I started tonight. Yeah, earn a little on the side wouldn't hurt. Absolutely not. Like if I can earn, it kind of just goes right back into the hobby, you know? Like anything I earn doing these streams, it's very much like a hey, I want to use that to either get new games to play, get new hardware to use for streaming, like like webcams or mics or whatever, you know, like things that'll actually improve it though. Like right now, the mic I have is really good. Like I'm not trying to upgrade anything, so I really don't need any money right now for anything. You know what I mean? Like I'm fine the way it's going. Like I'm using free Adobe Fresco right now. You know what I mean? Like I think one of the first things I would want would be like uh for the Noxbot subscription so I could like use it for multi-streaming better. But that's not necessary. Like I don't need that. What is Adobe Fresco? Uh it is the art program that I'm currently using. It's like the in the Adobe Creative Suite, but it's like a freeware uh art program. It's like one of the only free things Adobe does, from what I understand. Okay. So we are going to color the little lights in because this system is off right now. And I think we're gonna leave it like an off system. Learning a lot of things about everything. Yeah. Makes sense. I like most of what I see. There is an issue with this line down here that's like super off now. I don't know what I did to make that happen. Can we get the ruler back in here? Like, what are we doing? Seems a little too much. black. Then we'll go back to teal to get rid of the rest of the line here. I have a list of improvements that I would like to do now that I'm at least running, but each thing is more of a nice to have. Yeah. That's how I feel about it. Okay, that is the right green. Alright, so then comes the all too difficult. What do I put behind this? Alright, so we have this lovely background. Let's see here. If I have this teal and this purple, an indigo, if you will. Everything is off a little bit. Like the red and green are here. Purple and yellow are here. Purple and teal are kind of a similar deal, but really purple and yellow I know are opposites. But if we're going around the circle this way, then we'd actually head more towards into the orange territory. Do I want orange or do I want this nasty mustard color? Let's see what that looks like. It's gonna be an eyesore. I cannot fill this type of layer. Alright, well then let's add a layer then. Do it. Vector. Gross. I hate it. Alright, let's change our color. What if we just do yellow? It's a little better. What if we look for like a golden version? Yeah, not as good. What if we go into the red territory? That does not look bad, actually. Nice little burnt color. We want it fully saturated, but a little lower. I could deal with that. Is this done with like a drawer pad? Yeah. I'm using a tablet. You know, like for drawing on. I can't see it on my lap. Like it's just like there's no screen on it. It's just straight up whatever I draw on there comes up on screen. So it's a little bit like looking up here, drawing down here. Can't look at my hand while I'm drawing, that kind of thing. But that's how it's done. All right, so I'm seeing a couple of things that we need to fix. We'll do some more fills. Use this light, lovely gray. Actually, we will not. We will not do that. We will make it near white for what we're about to do. Right, so first we gotta fix this. Should be a bright dot. Next, we gotta fix whatever's going on with these holes. I don't think I want to fill anymore. I think I want just a dot. Okay. Fill all this in. We've been doing art for almost 2 hours now. But it's been fun. What if we add a little bit of realism to this guy. And then took our near white. Put a little reflection on there. Wrong shape reflection. I just feel like what we had there was a little better. Something like that. You know what we should do? Sorry, I keep changing this. We should start over. Take that black. Draw our circle. And then take that that white that we were just using. Make it opaque a bit. And then do what we were trying to do. Still not quite hitting. What if we just made it super simple? I think that works a lot better. Okay, cool. So now this is actually not anything. We can get rid of that. I mean, I'm liking it so far. What if we got fancy with it? I got just a dumb idea, and we're gonna chase it. This dumb idea is like my favorite thing now. This one will actually go back to hiding. Because these hoods are different. I don't want them to be too obvious. This layer should be hidden. It's kind of cool. So you're not gonna see all that in the final. You're just gonna see certain edges. So like, for example, when I go to export this, this is what it's gonna look like. It's gonna cut off on the edges there. But I'm kind of cool with that. For album art, I think it works. Looks sick. Thank you. All right. So then lastly, I do want to try something here. No, that was supposed to be up here. Is there a rectangle shape? Not really. Don't want comics. Maybe typographic? Nah. Hmm. Maybe we do want comics. Maybe we take this shape. Why is it being fussy? Okay, there we go. We're legit just gonna try to select something. No, I don't think it's gonna work. Never mind. We don't want to use that feature. I was hoping to, you know what? Maybe we can still make it work. Hold on. We'll take that opaque color. We'll undo what we just did. Use a big old brush. I think it needs to be like this. Okay. So now we'll get our handy dandy thing. Ooh. Undo that, please. Get a big eraser. Do something similar. Can we actually make that good though? Because that was almost perfect. Where's my R button? Please? Please? Alright. Ruler's broken, apparently. If you can't rotate the ruler, then what's the point? Why is this not working? Can we rotate it if we... Our fresco decided to just be dumb. Alright. Alright, hold on, everybody. We're going to exit out and restart. It's going to save it for us. Fresco. Nice background. Thank you. All right. Hello. back in and try to get this a little tighter. I mean, it's a detail. It might not be the best detail, but it's a detail, right? I wonder if I can take this, make it less pronounced. Something like that. You can barely see it, but that's okay. I think that's legit. I think that might be our guy for the season. It's 3-dimensional. Do you get it? Now I have an excuse. In fact, I almost wonder if what we actually want to do. I just got another dumb idea. Because this looks a little silly, I think. Let's do this crazy thing where we take all of these. Select multiple. And we will do this wonderful thing. Where we group them. Where's the thing for that? Layer panel. There we go, group layers. Okay, this is an empty layer. Okay, so this, hold on. Ungroup. You. Select multiple. Everything. Group. Transform. And so now well, that's confusing. Maybe we can add a layer. There we go. Nope. Interesting. Can we make it even more foresty? Yeah, I like it minty better, actually. What if we just match the color of the 3DS? I feel like we're almost there. What if we take that and we make it darker? That does something. take it, make it closer to that white we originally had. It's like a gray. All right, so then what we can do here is maybe play with that orange again and do a similar move. Doesn't pop as much, but it makes the game system pop more. I feel like we're almost there. I think this color needs to be a little bit brighter now. Can we make it like super bright? Yes and also no. We're almost to it. How about that? How does that look? Is it, I mean, it definitely seems eye-catching, if nothing else. What if we saturate this just a little more? See, now it doesn't look super clashy. Like, now I think it looks good. The purple stands out, I think. The Ravio hood maybe needs a little bit of something. Because it feels a little bit dead right now. Like, maybe what we can do on our little highlight layer. Now we'll add a new layer. Where's my layer panel? Oh, we're in transform right now. Okay, new layer. Oh yeah, perfect. Look at that. That's exactly what we wanted. All right. Make it even brighter. We're gonna add a highlight here. Almost looks like a balloon animal though. I don't know if I love that. Let's bring this down. Okay. Something similar over here. Bring it down. Because we got too much. Do a fancy cheater move. I'll do the same thing over here. Except we're gonna distort this guy. Try to make it thinner artificially. Yeah, something like that. So we got highlights. Do we need shadows? If we add shadows to that, do we need to add shadows to everything? No, I don't think we do. I think we're fine with highlights everywhere else. So let's do that. We'll just bring in a little bit of grease. Shadows don't just end. They actually hit the edges of things. Yay, shading. We messed up. Alright, well, at least it was on the last brush stroke. Sometimes you don't notice that you messed up until way later, and then you're kind of stuck with what you got. But not today. Today we did the thing. Alright, I think that's good. I think that might be what we have for our season 8 album art. I'm gonna we're gonna export this. It's gonna be a new cover art, so that should be good. And then hold on, real quick. Time lapse. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got for a time lapse. This ought to be fun. It's just loading here. I made myself a whole cup of decaf. I haven't touched it yet. If you're still in the chat, thanks for being here. Sorry for moving my mic like that. That was awful. My bad. But I think we're done drawing, so I'm going to go ahead and put my tools down. I want to see how this this export goes. Little 2-hour, 20-minute project here to make this this album art. I think it's legit. We're about halfway rendered now. All right, let's see. Let's see what we got. There's us doing our hand sketch. I guess we decided not to do any of the writing on the 3DS, which I'm kind of cool with. We also didn't put the power button on it. Now that I'm thinking about it, that would be a pretty quick fix, but I also don't know if I want to go back and do anything about that right now. Like, it's simplified, but I kind of like how it's simplified. It's like the poster edition of a 3DS. And it still has a little orange line on Nothing there. We messed that up. Power's always on. Something like that. Let's see here. How hard would the power button be to put on? Let's be done with that. That preview wasn't good. All right. Like before we filled that, it's just a little square, right? All right. So hold on. Let's see if we can't. Not even close to what we wanted to edit, but okay. It's a little square like right here. Let's see what we can do. We shrunk everything, so we can't go with a full 10. Let's see if we can get away with like an 8. So it's legit just like... We're already messing it up. All right, let's... Not what we want. We want... Oh gosh, I do not know what color. This? Yeah. How about we... That's interesting. Oh, oof. I copied the color too. Okay, so we gotta do this more manual than I thought. And that's okay. It's not that manual. Back to our teal. There we go. So we'll still go without the power, or without the writing, because I don't want writing. Writing takes forever to make and usually doesn't look good. So let's stick with that. And now we'll re-export our stuff here. First, export as Season 8 cover art. Yep, we're gonna replace it. All right, now we do the time lapse. We'll let that export again. This time we're actually gonna save it. Oh man. We are unplugging. We left the orange on the 3D slider. I know because I didn't go fix it. So I'm thinking that we're just going to be okay with that. We're going to leave it like that. And hopefully that is good. Hey, what happened to my fresco? Uh-oh. Let's try this again. Generate that preview and don't crash this time. The preview will probably end up being a short. You'll see it tomorrow on YouTube. Yep, starts in the beginning. Does our super duper sketchy handiwork with all the writing that we decided we didn't like. And then we start getting real fine tuned with it, making it all super sharp, fixing stuff and refixing stuff. Gorgeous. It looks like it's gonna take like a full minute here to do a 2 hours worth of work, which is fine. If I do it as a short, it'll be shorter than that. It'll probably be like 20 seconds or something. But you know, what can you do? Oh yeah. This would be season 8 cover art time lapse. All right, good stuff. Now I get to present this to the guys and see what they think. Hold on. In the file sharing, we're just going to throw it over there and see what happens. Upload a file. Because they haven't seen any of this. I don't think they even checked in on the stream. And then, oh my goodness. Where are my drives? There we go. Oh, yeah. I think they're going to like that. All right. But anyway, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. We're going to go ahead and end the stream here. But I do appreciate everyone who came in and chatted along with this whole process. We're going to do some recursive nonsense here. Ready? There we go. There's my OBS setup. We don't have any stream keys showing or anything, so, you know, it is what it is. But y'all, thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you on another stream. Peace out, y'all.